checking in Respect My Region Buddies brand today on the North American Weed Tour podcast. We have a very special guest, the one, the only Louie E. What's good, brother?
What's good, my man? What's good, Joey? How you doing out there?
Man, I'm doing well, man. Louie, you coming in hot from Santa Barbara County. You're in Goleta,
Yes,
California.
sir.
It's a small little area just outside Santa Barbara, right?
That's
And
correct. That's correct.
and you're the purchasing manager at the Urban Joy Dispensary, right?
Urban Joy.
Man. So Louis, you've been in the game. You just told me off the camera a little bit ago. Been slanging buds for damn near 2 decades, right?
Yes,
You've
sir.
been purchasing manager for it was Cal Green Medical
That's
prior to
correct.
Urban Joy. So what is it now? 3 to 5 years of purchasing, correct?
3 years right now of purchasing
3 years of purchasing, and
officially.
you've been in a version of legal cannabis for how long?
Version of legal cannabis. I'll say realistically, with a sidebar consulting with friends, realistically about close to a decade. I'll say I've had multiple friends that have owned dispensaries throughout the years around this area, and being in the previous role that we talked about, always kind of giving some guidance as to how they could operate. And I'm a big consumer, so I like to visit different locations and see what every place had.
That's one thing that you and I have always had a lot of respect for each other for is the fact that we are actually not just in the culture, but we really consuming to help us maintain that authenticity. We want to know what's going on. We want to be able to confidently say yay, nay, and why, right?
Exactly, exactly. There's so many things right now with the evolvement of the culture and just science behind this. I mean, we're just all talking the narrative terps. Before it was just THC, and before that, it was just whatever your nose told you. It was if it looked good and it smelled good, that's what was coming home with you.
We've been talking terps. I know I've been talking terps since 2000, like daily since 2017, when I was a bud tender. About what time did you say that you started noticing this war between THC and terpenes, and then the industry takes the side of terps, right?
I'll say for me about mid 18,
Okay.
where I started really paying attention to like why I was attracted to this much more than that, because I was just thinking it's a tiva, but then I had quite a few things that were classified as indica, it just gave me that uplifting euphoria, and then you find out it has a cut of some pinene in there and some lemonine, and it just gives you that nice like feel good all day, and yeah. So I'll say early 2018 is where it really started sticking to me.
So, and at that point, were you purchasing? Were you a bud tender then? Were you manager? What was your work life like back then?
At that point, I was already purchasing. I was a little bit more involved. I had done a lot of my own due diligence, a lot of normal forums, a lot of things like Weedakit, stuff on Vice. I mean, just stuff out there that's we used to have the growers Bible in
Mhm.
our shop when it was the 215 days. So I mean, like, it was around, but not quite the understanding of what I have now. You heard some words thrown around, but until you're really involved in it, like nitty gritty, how we are day to day, now, I mean, it means so much more to me than the THC percentage.
Do you particularly when you're buying strains, when you're looking for maybe a certain kind of vape or a dab, what are those key details terp wise that you really look for? Is it a specific terp? Is it a percentage of terps? Is it just even them having listed? You know what I mean? Like,
You hit it right on the nail. It's actually all three. What terp it is, depending if they actually note it. Yeah, 100%. Because again, that's the beginning of the education. But for me, yes, if I know there's myrcene in there, like maybe yeah, I want to do that if I'm tired or sleepy. I want to get that extra oomph of like whatever's gonna kick me in there. But yeah, I mean, brands started putting it out there. I had to do my homework, so now that it's in there, forced to learn type thing, but love it, and that does actually resonate with clientele as you have the conversation with them, because again, there's still so much to learn in this industry.
yeah. Do you notice? I mean, I know the answer to this. The customers care about THC, right?
Yes,
Like that's a fact. Like
only
terpenes,
thing
if it's
else.
listed, if the terpenes are listed, it's not even a part of the decision factor still. Like
Mhm.
they just look like even if it is listed, like I have a jar here. Just say it is listed right there on the back. It is not playing a factor in the decision for buying this $100 eighth.
No, not at the moment. Consumers still go for that beautiful jar. I mean, just aesthetically looking at that from a distance, the jar itself looks appealing already. So people shop with their eyes too, you know. Oh yeah, gas.
$95 eighth.
I trust me. I hate that. Let me pick a better word. I cringe when I pay for my 710 flower. Put it that way. Even with my
Oh my gosh,
that
man.
thing's still amazing, man. And I go through it like it's at a, like too fast.
It's like you like buying that kind of weed, bro. It's like wearing a pair of shoes that you don't want to wear that you paid hella
Yes.
money for.
Getting those Yeezys or those Jordans, you got to break them out the case though.
I mean, the shit's meant to be worn. It's meant to be smoked.
100%, man. They're bubble diagonal, they're lemon pucker tart. Everything from 710 that we've had recently it's been amazing. I mean, I really don't know what other flower really goes toe to toe with them on some things, but I'm looking forward to finding those that do. But there is quite a few brands out there that I mean, they do. I know we mentioned a couple that still maybe, we have differences of opinions on some things, but
Hey, we can discuss those too. We can do that on this
I smell the grass. I smell the grass and hay. I smell the grass and hay. They'll be nameless right now, but it's true. It's true. I think I'm picking up techniques of the industry where not all the lids are quite fully sealed from a little corner. Let it burp a little bit. I'm not sure if it's just me, but hey, that's for this discussion.
Yo, it's funny that you said that, bro.
I'm just saying that, man. I see too many jars once you start finding a pattern.
Hold up. I just bought eights. I won't name the brand either.
I know, please.
They're a client of mine, but I'm gonna tell them in person. I'm gonna get them in person. I'm gonna get them in person for sure, but I won't do them dirty like that. But we bought 4 eights, bro. We bought 4 eights. 2 of the eights were the same strain. Okay. No, that's a regular experience. That's another day at the dispo, right? The 2 eights, one of them perfectly sealed, the other one not sealed, like not sticker, not like the little the little
fucking
this thing,
the little seal top. Yep.
Yeah, this. It wasn't sealed all the way. Half of it wasn't sealed, and so I'm thinking to myself like, damn. And then what was funny is my roommate. He grabbed, he went into the bag first, right? He opened up, the exit bag, right? He opened up the exit bag and dove in and was like, "Oh, this was not sealed." Opened up the other one. He's like, "Oh, this one's good to go." And I was like, "Shit, I want that one." Like, I paid for this shit. And then you pulled out the buds, and they were actually different and worse than each other. It was the same thing, same crop, but because one person made a decision, a variable difference, the weed price was worse.
Yep. I mean, I hate to say that I'm calling a couple. That's quality control, unfortunately. That you're trying to get it out there and trying to get it to the consumer, and I get that, but those little things matter, because you may not, they may not see it, and they may think we're custies at one point, but at the same time, like I'm opening them, and I'm personally getting ones that have a quarter of it still like not quite sealed, and I'm like, what's going on with this? It's like it raises some suspicions as to, is it properly cured yet? Because
so that's the thing. That's the thing. They're cutting the corner on the dry and the cure.
Yep.
To then make that decision, right?
Correct. I'm assuming at this point, I don't want to put words or say anything sideways about anyone because I know how the market is. I mean, people think this is like a Coca-Cola commodity that we could just make and pop up like tomorrow, but this thing takes at least 3 months to grow and time to cure, and it has to have a process for it. And I hate to say, legislation doesn't help it at all. You have to then go through the process of metric and tagging and getting all your stickers. By then, you're cheating the product if you don't get it out to the person in time. So, I see the back and forth of it. Unfortunately, you want.
There's a balance of that, right? But I know as a buyer perspective, it's always gonna, right now it's fuck metric because there's no other really systems in place that can do it. But I gotta be the one to ask as a patient who I explicitly care about safe product. I demand mold-free, pesticide-free product, right?
100%.
Is there another process? Is there another program? Is there another something that wouldn't we have to tag them. They have to go there has to be tracking from seed to sale in this to maintain this thing. And so
I agree. I think like most things, we just committed to the first thing we understood. Because even when metric first came on to California, they made everybody put everything by a single gram because they did not understand how to put an eighth yet or a half ounce ounce because it was meant for bulk distribution from distro. They adapted from 215 to 6.4. Everyone was a distro at 215. Then they made everybody know, go apply for this now. So, everyone's evolving. There's education to be made still, but I think that's why metric definitely can be evolved. To me, it looks like a DOS system and archaic from the side eye. It's simple. There really doesn't need to be much to be done with it, but there is more things that need to be efficient with it. It's missing COAs, it's missing THC percentages. Like on my side as a retailer, they're dropping the ball because they're making us work more because a lot of the information doesn't transfer over to a Blaze or a Meadow or Trees or Indica POS or whatever system you're using. It's not as transparent as it should be. For the amount of money we pay in taxes and what they have, this should be one of the easiest, most streamlined things ever. But, it's our government, I saw you rolling. I'm going to go get mine.
Assigned programs are never.
I see you lighting. I got to go get mine real quick. Give me 2.
All right, you guys, good time for me to give a good break for y'all. We want to do a quick shout out to Urban Joy from Louie for being with us today. Make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast. This is episode 67. Louie is the purchasing manager from Urban Joy in Goleta, California. He's currently smoking on some Pinkies.
Shout out Pinkies.
Pinkies is an indoor, I believe it's LA grown, or is that Bay Area grown?
I want to say it's LA, man, but it's Sea Junkie from what I hear. A little Sea Junkie genetics, maybe crossover. This pink apple, no lie, no cap. This shit is Granddaddy Purple or Purple Kush, whatever you want to say. But this is straight GDP. I know because we grew up for 15 years before we had to stop. My favorite shit right now. Thank you, Pinky. Shout out Pinkies right now.
Shout out Pinkies for the plug, the Pinkies plug on the podcast. We're smoking on 2 peace strains. I got Panacea today.
Oh, yeah.
And they're 41. This is their quote unquote mids line. So excuse me.
Shout out DC Collective.
Right?
Shout out DC Collective. Keep doing your thing.
All right. Here we go. First hit. Man, and also, too, for those of you guys that have been watching and hanging out for a little bit, for those people that are going to come back in and join us, Louie and I are also going to be collaborating on some product reviews here soon. He doesn't know this, but we're also going to be doing some bud tender education as well, just having core targeted conversations designed to help people get better at what they do. Louie's background is also in media and content creation. Louie, talk to the people a little bit about your background making content in Santa Barbara County.
Well, I've been very fortunate to collab, and I know probably the homie will watch it later. We ended up recording a few things that showcase in our store. We were able to shoot a grow. I'm sorry, for one of our owners and partners up in the I'll say Santa Maria area-ish. Been able to put some stuff out there and just realistically, man, I've given a lot of ideas. I'm gonna call it out right there and call my receipts. All of Kana's things, the whole California, I pitched that to one of the homies a while back, and that's their whole campaign right now. So, and then even the Kana Barbara, that's on me. I'm gonna take that right now. I'm gonna claim it right now. Anyone need receipts? I got receipts.
No, but I mean, one thing the cannabis industry loves to do is they love to take ideas and run with it and not give people credit. So it's no disrespect or hate to anybody else.
By no means. Just saying. No hate at all. That's
what I'm saying. It's like, hey, people like to just take the ideas and run with it, man, because a lot of people are inactive. And not only that, but because, like you said, the taxes, the way the business models are set up, it doesn't really allow for creative expression in a lot of times. Kana does a really good job of being involved in the community, running a lot of promotions and sales to give patients access to their products. And then rumor has it, I hear there's a live resin collab between Kana and Buddies.
Ooh. Let's get it.
Come on,
let's go. No, but with that too, going back to at least knowing that the constant idea that I thought of or thinking of or have like-minded ideas, I can't say that I claim it. I'm sure maybe their marketing was working on it, But again, to be able to see that it can be successful or it does resonate, that's where I know, like, at least something that we're doing is actually, it's working, and I can't wait till we start doing our collaboration. All right, just keep posted, pa que sepan.
Yeah, so this is a great transition to the next part, right? So you guys are in a smaller community, right? A really true local community. You're in Southern California, but people in LA don't just drive over to Santa Barbara just the same day. You know what I mean? They plan it out. It's a real trip. It's a vacation. Correct. It's a getaway for getaways, right? There are locals, right? There are I believe there is over 100,000 people that live in Santa Barbara County, maybe even closer to 200,000, 300,000. Again, I don't know. But it makes it one of those areas where it's not so small, and it's not exactly this big city yet. And so for you guys, being that Urban Joy, you guys do delivery, correct?
We're about to
You're about
launch
to do
one
delivery.
of next quarter. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Excited for that.
Did Calgary? No. It wasn't you guys. It was Bridgeport. It was the homie that worked at Bridgeport, right?
Yeah. But we brought him on, and he's been helping us, and we're Q1 is coming through, so Santa Barbara be ready.
So when you guys are looking at like how do you be successful in these areas, right? So let's break it down. Santa Barbara County, Goleta, Ojai, all these areas that are out there, right?
Lompoc.
There's not millions of people, and there's a lot of dispensaries. Well, not a lot, but there's a good quantity of saturation of dispensaries, saturation of deliveries. How do you, Louie, how do you separate yourself? Is it the parking lot? Is it the products that you offer? What was the experiences that you've been offering that really helped you guys continue to grow and scale?
Great question. Great question. I got to credit Alex isn't here on the call. I hope to have him on one day. I got to credit him a little bit too on this, where we put our brains together. He's a bit more of a connoisseur with more name brands, but the parking lot definitely that we evolved to get and have actually. But end of the day, I think it's the products. Having buddies, having the Alien Lab price that we do, the aggressiveness, and quite frankly, going back to Alex, he and I, we're old school. We're salespersons. We literally have been guerrilla marketing. We've been going down to our local businesses here, investing with them, starting referral programs with people that are out here grinding, because they're out here serving other people, and they use their tips to come to us. So why not, give them a little extra love for already doing what they're going to do, and we really have been aggressive with working with a lot of small businesses here to try to cross pollinate. So people like the head shops around here, all of them, they all smoke. People need the tools to be able to enjoy our product, so we have a couple of setups and just getting out to the community in the day. Right now we're working with a nonprofit with it's like Breto's youth camp with little individuals who are coming out of a tough environment, getting out of YA, and having to acclimate and know that you don't have to have that lifestyle, and give an opportunity to be able to pick something up different, and give back to things like that. Casa Raza, the Latino community around here, it's a little different, a little different aesthetic of class that we have here, and we missed the mark, and doing that and back to it, pricing and good quality product end of the day, and customer service.
So one thing that's really interesting to me, that coming from Washington's market, and I'm sure the rest of the country is going to be like this as well in certain areas, particularly the Midwest. But when you talk about a majority Latino population, right, along Southern California, what kinds of marketing have you guys done to really make sure that you hit home on speaking to those people?
Carrying the product they like. I grew up growing up, it's all my aunts and my grandma and parents' friends, they all had a little remedy under the sink. I think we talked about it. So it's mostly finding the things that they actually enjoy. Right now we're fortunate to be next to an establishment that has been salt to the earth and built themselves up, a little bakery next to it. So you've had their food, and it's we're very lucky that we're next to Cristina. Shout out Cristino's bakery right next door to us. We're very fortunate to have them, and it goes full circle of the bubble that our town is so small. Used to basically work across the street from where the owner of the bakery lived, at a little mom and pop store. So here's all about community. So it goes.
And you guys have a record. You guys have a studio there next to your building as well. There are local artists regularly recording, creating content, shooting things. I've seen people going in and out. Been blessed to meet a couple of them. In my frequent visits out there to Goleta. Can you elaborate a little bit on what it's like being a local out there? What is it like living in Santa Barbara County, maybe growing up in this general area? What are some of the things that the people care about that really build community between, the cannabis world and then the regular world?
Well, it's definitely a bubble here. So I always make a joke where like if you fart, someone will hear it or someone's gonna know like instantly, but it's one of those things. It's a blessing in that, where people help each other out a lot, where regardless of if you shop at whatever dispensary around here, people are helping each other and you see them put it together. One of the other dispensaries, shout out one plant, they worked with uh one of the local team here, and they put on this dope show in a fair like little park around here, which is amazing. Which like it's what the community needs. So I hope.
That's kind of like unheard of, right? We
Yeah,
dispensaries
man,
taking over
it was
parks.
wild
Like
to
we
be able
can't
to
even
see that.
smoke weed in parks, man. You know what I'm saying? But we can take it over now. Let's
Yeah, so
go.
it was amazing for them to be aware of that and put it ahead of that, and it was just great DJs. I mean, Egyptian Lover, Chromeo. It was a great show. It was interesting. Yeah,
Wow,
in our little
Chromeo.
community, I know. Yeah, it was
That's
interesting. So
some
again,
funk.
shout out them, for doing that. Like this is what we need to do. This is what the community needs to keep going. We just had Flower Fest in Ventura, so shout out, Trying to Eats and them out there. They just had the first open,
Sorry, I was just getting into Chromeo in my head.
festival. It was a food and smoke festival. So Ventura's doing it. I'm hoping Santa Barbara and Goleta hurry up and give us the opportunity to properly do it without having to pay someone else to do it. So we could really give back.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then got to say the Dub Shack is the little studio, and they just give back to community too. They bring disenfranchised youths in there that are struggling, and give them time to learn how to actually use the engineering tools and see what it can be without having to be dumb, and out there. There's outlets out here, and
Yeah.
and the community group is great here. I mean, we have Glass House, we have Autumn Brands, we have a lot of brands here, that Pacific Stone, Raw Garden. I mean, we are a mecca of like industry here. So they all help each other out. We just had the Santa Barbara Cannabis Committee recently. They do it quarterly, and they awarded a few of the local brands. And again, we're starting to get that, seeing politicians out there that are for it, and really starting the movement to be able to change. So Santa Barbara and the cannabis, it's close. There's enough competition,
Yeah.
but there's enough for everyone to eat. And
They
there's
used to
different
say
layers
when
of
I first
everything.
moved here, bro, they used to say, like, Joey, you got to go up to Santa Barbara County, man. You got to drive all the way up to Slow some days in the summer, man. And, like if you drive up there through like November, in like early October, man, late September, he's like, you can smell the weed on the freeway. That's what people told me when I first got here. And I remember closing my eyes and being high and being like, damn, man, that sounds like rolling hills. And then I can just, oh, weed. Like, what? And then it's funny because, and then you get here, working with buddies and everything, you discover that Raw Garden and Autumn Brands and all these cats that are fucking massive are out there, and they Glass
Curvana,
House, and they really got acres and acres and acres of like
Wonder Bread now.
greenhouses.
I mean, like everybody coming up here, so love
Crazy.
it. Love it.
So for you, I'd like to kind of transition. We talked a little bit about Santa Barbara, the background. I'd like to transition a little bit more into a product side of things. I find the mindset of a dispensary buyer to be very interesting. You and I have talked a lot about using data, what kinds data, not just THC and terpene percentages, but frequency of sell through, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Platforms like Headset, BDS Analytics, Pistol Data, right? Uh,
Absolutely.
you guys are on Weed Maps, so I'm sure you look at Weed Maps analytics here and there.
Absolutely. Trees analytics is what we use.
Oh
So
yeah.
like, I mean, they are, they're pretty accurate.
So this is where I've taken a liking in the last 5 years to doing this. I went to school for a little bit of this here and there, and for me to use my college degree and to be making content about it, it's just very exciting and cool for me. So I wanted to learn a little bit about how you make informed, successful purchasing decisions and how you incorporate data into that for Urban Joy.
Well, back to sell through, flower sells the fastest. Vapes are second right there, and in quality. But honestly, it's a few things. I still, main one, I'm gonna start integrity of a brand.
Okay.
If they stay to their quality and high structure of like keeping it consistent, keeping it pure. It shows throughout the product, regardless of what they do, whether it could be sun grown, or greenhouse, mixed light, or indoor. You could
They got
tell
to be
when,
great and consistent at one or
correct.
two, three or three things.
You could tell when a company invests into the love of the product. I was just having the discussion the other day where you could tell, it doesn't matter if they're big or small when you're starting. I've always liked to give opportunities to people. So when brands are starting or they're in their, I'll say, infant state, um, luckily the 3 years I've been here, I've been able to pick a few that I'm like, oh, great, I'm glad I picked them. Like I believe in them, just for the quality that they were and the consistency. That's the biggest thing. Consistency is key. Uh, I'll keep some nameless, but I don't like when a product that I know is basically the same and you just keep changing the name of it. Like, just name it what it is. Bring it back. Bring your classics. Like, tell the people what it is.
Like the
Just
people
be
that have done
transparent.
those blueberries and they call it berry. Oh,
Yeah,
sour berry. Oh, pink berry. Oh,
yeah.
red berry. Like,
It's the same. Just keep it consistent. And my side of it as a retailer is because you're making me create 100 different SKUs for the same thing. Just it's a different side of the coin. But back to it, quality. I mean, quality has to be the second thing, or first thing actually, integrity there. But you just got to be consistent. There's a lot of sourcing in this industry, so it's hard to put your finger on anything because you're always surprised. And when you're surprised, that's the things you bring in. And with analytics, you have to go with what's hot. I heard of pinkies, but I had to try it for myself before I actually co-signed it. And when I did, I'm like, okay, yes, this is what I'll personally buy.
yeah,
That 7 leaves, 710, cream of the crop. Alien Labs. I'll buy. I personally, CBX, Fig. I could keep naming a few that I
yeah.
enjoy
Those are
too.
all. Those
Up
are all a lot
north,
of top shelf brands.
up north, yeah. But then I love Monterey Kushco. Their fresh squeeze is great. I can't wait to bring back their creme brulee if they do, which is an old school fucking like green crack. Which I love. But and then just name it what it is too. Sometimes
Yeah, yeah,
stop.
yeah. I mean, these
There's
are
too many
these.
gelatos out there. Stop it with the gelatos.
Hey man, you got to keep. I need more OGs, more gelatos, more green cracks. Give me. This is what I want from people, right? I want people to deliver terpene profiles that the masses what we want. Like, I'm actually okay with walk. Like, think of it like this: you walk into 7-Eleven, there are 17 beverages in there right now that all taste like grape. They're
Yep.
all different. They're all different.
Yeah.
Every one of them is different, right?
Yep.
Powerade grape, blueberry. I'm sorry, Gatorade grape,
Yep.
Fanta grape,
Yep.
something grape, Kool-Aid grape. Like, there's
Yep.
all these different ones, and they all taste different. So if the data, if it's headset or whoever it is, right? If the data says that a bunch of us are buying it, grow more of it and sell more of it. But this does lead to a little bit of a problem, right? The legacy growers with the classic strains, right?
Correct.
Those typically get left behind. But when you really think about it, there's always going to be a market for that if you grow your brand and business in a way where you can dedicate time and space and energy into that. You got to have good business practices, make sure your margins in your business, you can't overextend yourself. You want to create wins that are so big and great that you can take a little bit of these incremental parts of it and stack it on the green cracks, the Death Stars, the Blue Dreams. Like, Blue Dream is always going to yield well.
Absolutely.
It's always going to taste like blueberry.
If done right, correct.
I have
Absolutely.
never, even
And
the
ba- and
bad
to,
blueberry. Okay.
and to
What is,
piggyback, it's
what
in
is that?
fashion. Everything comes in cycles. Like what's gonna be understood about this industry is like everything comes in cycles.
Mm-hmm.
There's a pendulum swing of everything. So in this case, things are going to come in cycles, and there's going to be a cycle where people are done with this and they want to have that classic for a short limited time, and that's it. It's again, we're still a few years in only in California, and we haven't even tapped where we're going to.
Give me your starting five. Give me your starting five classic strains, no particular order.
GDP, Durban
Okay.
Poison.
Okay. Indica and sativa.
I know mostly like I like a girl. What is it? Purple Urkel was my favorite back in the day.
Okay.
It was mostly GDPs, dude.
Yeah.
I used to get some, again, the green crack, and then just OG. Anyone
Hit
more?
me with another one. Hit me with one more.
I'm trying. I'm now. Fuck.
Durban, green
No,
crack,
a cheese. We used to have a
EDP,
homie. Used to
OG,
have a homie that did cheese around here.
purple Urkel, and
And
cheese. You gave me
garlic. No,
three.
I fucked up. Garlic too. Garlic used to be around here too. That's originated here actually in Santa Barbara.
Really?
Garlic.
That garlic?
Met the homie the other night. He wants to do a documentary. We'll talk later.
Damn, that's crazy
So
though.
it's true. You can look it up. Garlic originated right here in Santa Barbara.
What about your top five or favorite five? No particular order. We'll go exotics, not designer weed, right? Just exotics, classic exotics. This
Classic
and just to
exotic.
clarify for anybody who's wondering,
I don't know, man. I was like,
cookies is an exotic
know,
strain.
man. This is where this is where I rely on like hollow flowers in my nose now. Like I was spoiled, man. Like I grew up in the 215 days here, so like I knew the direct plug. Like all my strains were the same all the time. You know what I mean? I could pick up sour diesel. I could pick up this. We used to have Romulan. We fucking had a short run of some shit. Like I mean, like I knew the direct people, so it's like it's hard for me to kind of like just like think of what because I never cloud chase it, like. And that's a hate, but like I never went after like TLC strain hunting or
But in the
anything.
last 3 years, though, you have had an ungodly amount of samples come through your dispensary, and I
This
know
is true.
you've tried
This is true.
hundreds of exotic strains and at least 50 different designer strains.
Yes, turds, the judge, Claiborne's killing it, man. The Black Mamba, um, I'm loving the bonbons, slush,
Yeah.
all the things from Seven Leaves. Like they're coming through. Heights, they're out of control. Their stuff is great. Uma Farm,
High shit is fire.
the Mount Gelato is excellent. Heights is doing
Yeah.
a bunch of good shit. I mean, a bunch of the fake stuff that we just got, the new, the Dolly, and all this stuff. Like shit, the Sixth Sense, those things are excellent. Just smoke through a bunch. Up
Damn.
north is killing it. Like I mean, the list is long. That's the thing.
That's
Like
what I like to hear.
end of the day, I tell my clients, you just got to try it. I mean, I could tell you everything I could tell you, but you just got to try it in a day. Like again, this pink apple is great. The envy's delicious.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff out there that everyone just got to explore.
I just bought some of those pinkies the other day out in Malibu. That shit was fire. Shout out to the Cake House in Malibu. They hit me with two of these pinkies joints out there, and it was that one that you're smoking, and then I forget the other one, but they were both really delicious. Then this Panacea 41, the Gelato 41, was actually really good. I don't know. Do you guys carry Panacea at your store yet?
Nah, not yet, man. There's too much.
I can tell you. So I got this. I don't know what they're selling it for, but you can do the math. I got this in Mary Jane's in Hollywood for 33 and 8 plus tax.
Woo.
Yeah, most places though,
Okay.
if you were to look for Panacea on Weed Maps, it's mostly 45 to 50 and 8 plus tax. But that's in the jar. This is the mids.
Yep.
See, so these are supposed to be bee buds, but no, does that look like a bee bud to you?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I mean, again,
Right.
but it's the beginning of the season though, so you know what I mean. So, it's Croptober still, so we're gonna see a lot of the good. I'm gonna turn on my light real quick.
Oh, y'all good? Man, good time for you guys again. Like, follow, subscribe. We've got Louie E.
Yeah.
Motherfucker from Urban Joy representing, man. Goleta, Santa Barbara County. Man, tell me a little bit about your heritage. Where are you and your family from, brother? I know this is a big part into who we are and what we do with the community.
I'm originally from a little town in Mexico called Tototlan, Jalisco. It's in Los Altos de Jalisco. Shout out my fam out there.
Hey.
If they're watching, they better subscribe. I'm gonna hit them up. But yeah, man. So I was born out there in like about 7 to 8 months when my mom crossed over with us. It was a crazy story. She went to the San Diego Hills by herself, to get us here. So shout out moms. Love your
moms with the strength.
But yeah, then fortunate to land in Santa Barbara, and then started in banking at a very young age, and learned a lot about community. Then started photography, got into that. I've been able to shoot stuff for like the Lobero Theater here locally. We've been able to shoot a bunch of cool shows there, and just grinded, man. Luckily, cannabis saved my life when I was 15 because I didn't know I needed it. until I needed it. And
I feel you there.
never stopped smoking since then, you know. And it's been one of my things, part of my life. Got married on 420. Shout out my wife Joanna, love you, girl.
Hey, congratulations.
423 years ago, but I mean, literally, it's my life, you know. Shout out cannabis. Shout out Mary Jane.
Man, that's such a blessing, and it's just another example of how powerful, you know, cannabis can really be in terms of impact on someone's life, right? For me, I'm a medical patient. For you, patient or not, at the end of the day, then, you know, even I have a lot of respect also too for the recreational cannabis users, because for myself, you know, I don't really like to drink. It always makes me sick. Anybody that knows me, you know, knows better than to buy me a beer. So it's funny because, you know, I'm always the guy rolling up joints, and I'm like usually the only one smoking weed nonstop when I go places. And so I always, you know, appreciate when we got real smokers in the house. Now I gotta ask, you know, hit me with the North American Weed Tour exclusive review on that Pinkies. What's the taste score at, like, out of 10?
Honestly, no cap, solid 9.
Okay.
Solid 9. I can't give it a 10 because I smoked the local GDP for so long. that's my pedestal. But then I'll give it a 9. I'll give it a 9.9. Take it back, a 9.9.
Oh, okay, it's close, as close as you can get it up there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Pinkies does really good work, man.
I've had the State Flower GDP. I've had the King Clone GDP. You know, this is right above it.
Oh, it's a cut above all the rest, so you got to put it all the way up there, huh?
Yeah, it's a cut above those of the ones I've had so far. But no hate on the other ones. I'm just saying that they're really good. But this so far, every time I've had it, I've bought it personally about 3 or 4 times already. But yeah, shout out to them. Good GDP.
Shout out to Pinkies, man, doing some really great
Call
work.
it GDP, don't call it Pink Apple.
Call it the GDP, don't call it the Pink Apple. Come on, Pinkies. So a couple more questions before we get you on out of here. I'm interested in learning a little bit about, like, you know, what do you kind of look for in terms of people trying to get in the industry when you're hiring for bud tenders, right? So we have a lot of people that reach out to us like, oh, I want to get in the space. Oh, do you know who's hiring? Oh, where can I get a job? You know, this and that. As a manager, as someone who's a part of the purchasing team, who's overseeing, you know, dispensaries being built, rebuilt, hiring, firing, all the nine. What do you really look for when it comes to hiring bud tenders and the staff at a dispensary?
Looking for someone who, right now we have some amazing people staffed to say, like, we got someone who basically is a firefighter and trying to be a pilot and juggles this, you know. Shout out to them out there, and others doing their DJ gigs and you know, just their side businesses. But there's a thing where I say it's patience, and this is a tough industry right now to grow in that aspect because it's limited. So I'd say patience and just keep doing due diligence. You know, it's growing so fast. Like, what is it that you want to do? There's marketing, there's content, right? There's accounting, there's you know, how to vet consultants. There's who's keeping up to code with the legislation to really properly inform staff, and who's keeping up with this. There's so much that's out there that it's not just the sell aspect of it. Weed basically sells itself. I hate to say it, because people are already coming in for the product. It's just what's the right one for them, what's the fit for them for that day. But if you can really make an impact with a person to keep providing something of quality that they like and getting to know the individual, that's one thing, you know. So customer service, being attentive, be punctual, you know, show that you want to do something, and just be a team player. You know, this town is tough, you know, because it's a process to get approved through all the city ordinance, you know, where they say you gotta get a background check, do this wait period, then finally you can bring them on, you know. So it's not like you can hire someone instantly tomorrow. Every city has it a little different. So depending where you're at out there, you know, do your homework, see what your city allows, see what your state's allowing in that area, and then what are the dispensaries missing? Find out what they're lacking. How can you bring them something? We're like, hey, you don't bring this. I see every other location has this. You know, show that you know the area. Show that you know you're doing your homework. Because everything tells itself now. You know,
That's huge right there.
but if you have customer service and you're it's a slow grow. Unfortunately, it's a slow grow in this industry. I know you were talking to the gentleman earlier in your conversation. Where, like, if you're gonna jump on your own feet and do it yourself to be established when you don't feel it, if you're on that niche to jump. You have to dive in that dip in at one point. But if you're growing, understand it's a slow grow. Get in there, learn the area, learn the product, be a team player, see who needs help, and how you can learn from everybody else, and just be attentive. I would say carry a notepad.
How did you get your first clients when it comes to the photography and the content creation?
I just carried my camera everywhere. I was taking pictures everywhere, and I know quite a few people. And then they just, I got a good eye, I guess, every once in a while. And they just, my buddy called me one day. And he's like, "Hey, can you help me for a wedding?" And I'm like, "Sure, when?" He's like, "Right now." Like, it was about 7 a.m. So shout out my boy Brabo, and. Yeah, so we ended up in San Ynez, and I just took a bunch of pictures. We edited, did a little video afterwards, and that's how we started.
That's so incredible. I love that. What a great inspirational story for anybody trying to get, their first client. Wear your camera around, walk around and talk about what you do, show people you're different. I thought what you said earlier was really golden, about kind of knowing the area in terms of bringing something up, like noticing the difference between what's happening at other places and what might be missing somewhere, and how you can provide that. Like, that's huge. I don't know that I've had many people on Respect My Region, or even for me personally, I can't think of many times I've ever heard anybody doing exactly that, to go do something. But that's a total disruption method to get on someone's radar. Really like that.
I'm here to help people, like someone put me on, so I'm hoping to put a lot of people on, like you are right now. So
nah, man, this is all about extracting the game from you, brother. We putting people on here together right now, which everybody like, follow, subscribe. North American Weed Tour, episode 67. This is Louie. Louie, I appreciate you being here, man. We're getting a lot of good info out here, right? Meow, man. I love it. Okay. Now, I said I only had one more question, or maybe 2 more questions, but I lied. So I got a couple more. I'm interested in, gosh, so you have a cultivation background as well? You've been around cultivations?
Unfortunately, I don't. I've just been around a lot of people who did grow it. I've been fortunate to just be at the right place at the right time at that. Tried to grow once with my brother, and it was hard. I mean, we got rid of stone, but that's when I realized I'm better off at acquiring it than growing it.
No, that's fair. That's fair. It's kind of a similar path for me. I haven't been able to grow, I'd say, at a hugely successful level. We had some decent Blue Dream, and it pressed and some decently tasting rosin, but other than that, that's just because Blue Dream just tastes good usually for this, easy one.
All day.
Easy one. All right. So my last question for you then here, before I give you the floor to say what you'd like to say to the people. In terms of the products that are available at Urban Joy right now, could you talk about some of your favorite or more trusted brands, things that maybe are a combination of affordable and some of the higher end?
Absolutely affordable and effective. I'm gonna go straight to the Don Primo tinctures. They fall under a drink almost looking. They're made with RSO. It's a lemonade, and then they have an Arnold Balmer. Those are my go-to drink for a good sleep. Go-to flower right now, again, between the Pinkies and it's been the Atomic Apple from Alien Labs. That's really tasty. And the Heights. The Heights gelato. Those 3 have been a hitter. Dab wise, got to give it to Auti right now. We have a banana. It's delicious. It's a rosin. It's super affordable on the dab side. And then obviously 710. I mean, but they're 710.
Yeah, hard to compete with anything 710 right now, man. Their shit is just so absolutely incredibly hard.
House kills it with us. They do excellent. Their blueberry cookies, eighths and ounces, they are one of our top sellers. And yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. And we got a bunch of, we always have deals, man. We honestly have the best prices in our area. If you check us out, I mean, we got everything started $9. So, you know,
Deals.
some edibles and pre-rolls at $4, you know, so we got everything in there. But yeah, Don Primo, I got to give him some love, man. Those guys, that lemonade is amazing.
Coming in hot with the lemonade. This is,
Yeah.
and you also named a bunch of really great brands earlier. You mentioned Monterey Kush. You know,
Yeah.
big shout out to your support with Buddy's brand. I know you guys do the Alien
Buddy's,
Labs and
yes.
Connected out there. You guys offer, what is it, Kana, Camino,
Everything. Kana, Camino. We have
Raw Garden.
Raw Garden, Curvana, Friendly Farms. We got
all the right ones you got to carry, man, because the patients, we need the variety, we need the selection, man.
We got that Napalm Wonder Bread collab. That was amazing. That Pink Picasso had that the other night. Out of control.
Damn. Big shout out to Wonder Bread. Big shout out to Exhibit and the Napalm fam doing great things. Now, Louie, before we get on out of here, I want to give you the floor to share any kind of information or updates or shout outs or whatever it is that you'd like. And again, man, I really appreciate you being on today, man. Thank you.
No, thank you for having me. But just looking forward to Hall of Flowers. It's going to be cool just to see what's going on out there and just to see how the industry keeps evolving and looking forward to, you know, this just keeps growing, and hopefully I'm on here another time talking about bigger, better things, you know, like we said, we're working on our little critique and tasting little thing, you know, so we can incorporate a little music with that too, you know, what we're doing, you know, and just continue to grow, and hopefully Santa Barbara in this area get some event licenses so we can start throwing some parties out here and really, really, really make an impact and give back to the community.
Hell yeah. Big shout out to you, Louie, for what you do in the industry and in the community. Thank you for, again, supporting Buddy's brand, as also as for being a guest tonight, both as a friend and as a, you know, on the associate side of things. Really appreciate you know, the opportunity to work with you in the industry, man.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. This was episode 67 of the North American Weed Tour podcast. Louie, I will see you in a few days at Hall of Flowers. I'm heading out there tomorrow, so definitely we'll be tapping in. To everybody else, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. We are available on YouTube. We are streaming live on Twitch. We are streaming on Facebook, and we are on Twitter. So make sure you guys follow, like, comment, share it, tag your mom, your uncle, let them know about what's going on in the world of weed. Louie, we're going to have you on again soon. Thank you again, everybody. Love y'all.